tawanan, lahat ng iyong all-time hits. Ang tanging huntahan ng Masanglamaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. Cool FM. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews at 4.
Good afternoon and welcome to koolNews at 4. I'm Cairo, and as we bring you some breaking news, BSP flags possible 25 basis points rate cut in August. The Philippine Central Bank Governor said on Wednesday a 25 basis points rate cut in August remains possible as inflation is expected to moderate in the coming months. Inflation could have peaked already in July, with lower trips on rise likely to moderate inflation, Central Bank Governor Ali Remolona told reporters. Another 25 basis points rate cut might happen later in the year, Remolona said. The central bank expects July annual inflation at 4.0% to 4.8%. The Statistics Agency will release July inflation on August 6. Monetary authorities have scheduled a rate-setting meeting on August 15, the only one for the third quarter. This was first reported by Interaction, and yes, I am using Microsoft Start to use it as my news source for koolNews at 4 today. Excuse me. It's just still loading on the end. There it is. Okay. This is coming from the Manila Times. The Philippine Coast Guard started its oil recovery operation on Thursday off Sito Quiapo in the village of Bian, Mariveles, Bataan, where MV Mirola 1 ran aground on Wednesday. PCG personnel were manually scooping out the oil inside the vessel, which was taken to a waste disposal facility to avoid posing health risk to residents. The PCG also conducted drone aerial surveillance and short-line assessment in the area where MV Viola ran aground. They observed minimal oil stains and a light smell of diesel oil within the area. The team also collected samples for water sampling analysis. MV Mirola 1 is the third vessel to run into trouble in the waters of Bataan after MT Terra Nova and MKTR Jason Bradley sank in the past week. We'll save that sports for later, but for now, we will continue. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and First Lady Luis Ariana Marcos are welcomed by Australia's Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs Tim Swartz and other officials as they arrived at Melbourne Airport, Australia on March 3, 2024. I'm not sure this is old news. Oh, it's recent. Okay. Something's not right. Hold on. Okay. Okay, never mind. Let's continue. The Office of the President is requesting a budget of over 1 billion pesos to fund President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s domestic and international trips next year. The Department of Budget and Management said Thursday. Budget Secretary Amanda Pagkataman said the requested 1.054 billion pesos is lower than the 1.148 billion pesos allocated for the chief executive's trips this year. It is 94 million pesos or 8% decrease compared to 1.148 billion pesos allocation in the 2024 General Appropriations Act. Bumaba po sila ng 8%, Pagkandaman said in a palace briefing. Siguro, kung makikita po natin dito sa proposal nila, siguro may nabawasan po silang travel both local and foreign. Critics have questioned Marcos Jr.'s frequent trips abroad. Excuse me. The palace said the trips aim to promote the Philippines as an investment destination and boost partnerships with ally countries. Pagkataman said that despite the lower budget for the president's trip, the Philippine government would continue its efforts to market the Philippines to investors and follow up on earlier investment pledges. Together also with DTI and kami rin po sa economic team, we still continue to go out and parang kumbaga we market the Philippines as an investment destination. Tuloy-tuloy po iyan, she said. Samantalang iyong iba po may mga na pirmahan na po na mga memorandum of understanding and agreement ang acting presidente, kailang pa rin po mayroon din pa pong follow-ups itong mga ito para to ensure na makarating na nga itong mga investments na nakalap natin nung mga nakaraang taon. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Okay. The Provisional Board of Palawan has called on the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office to focus on enhancing its earthquake preparedness after government volcanologists warned that the province is not free from earthquakes after all. This is coming from Inquirer. The warning was issued as board members sought an explanation after the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology detected several quakes in the waters of Palawan since June. During the regular session on Tuesday, board member Ryan Maminita filed a resolution seeking to enhance Palawan's earthquake risk reduction management, preparedness, and response measures in light of recent warnings from the Philfox. The resolution was adopted in its first reading. Mamita said that during the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Summit held on July 23, Mario Arello, a professor of the University of the Philippines National Institute of Geological Science, provided scientific explanations on the recent occurrence of earthquakes in the northern and southeastern states of Palawan. Data gathered at the summit, he said, prove Palawan is not immune to seismic events and thus it is also prone to earthquakes as well as its cascading effects like tsunamis, landslide, or erosion that may be potential events as a result of earthquakes somewhere in Sulu Sea, somewhere in Mindoro and the Manila Trench. So this resolution is addressed to concerned agencies such as the PDRRMO, MDRRMOs, and the Mimaropa Regional Office of the Civil Defense for them to enhance our readiness and preparedness and response measures for an event that may occur in the future, he said. Philfox Supervising Science Research Specialist Jeffrey Perez, in the presentation during a disaster preparedness forum organized by SMCD Processa here on July 25, said that contrary to popular belief, Palawan was not earthquake-free. He noted that Palawan had experienced earthquakes in the past, the strongest of which dating back to 1897. He said a lot of people were caught by surprise when four earthquakes were recorded by folks in June in the waters of Roxas and Coron towns. A group of scientists from the Department of Science and Technology, including Perez, confirmed the presence of active faults nearby. As a geologist, I believe that there is really a possibility for earthquake to hit Palawan, which may not come from underneath but from the sea like the Sulu Trench or from Panay Island, Negros, or Mindoro, he said. According to Perez, small faults, also known as local faults or blind faults, can be the source of earthquakes that cannot be detected because these are beneath the ocean floor. Nine coastal areas in the country tested positive for parasitic shellfish poison or toxic red tide beyond the regulatory limit, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources said Thursday. This is coming from GMA News Online. In its August 1 bulletin, the BFAR said red tide toxins which first were detected in shellfishes collected and tested from the following areas: Dawes and Tacbilaran City in Bohol, Dumaguilas Bay in Zamboanga del Sur, San Bernito in Surigao del Norte, Randam Island or Daram Island, Zumaraga Island, and Cambatutay Bay in Samar, Matarinao Bay in Eastern Samar, and Cancabato Bay in Yete. All types of shellfish and astes or alamang gathered from the areas above are not safe for human consumption. Fish, squids, shrimps, and crabs are safe for human consumption provided they are fresh and washed thoroughly, and internal organs such as gills and intestines are removed before cooking, it said. Meanwhile, the BFAR said the coastal towns of Cavite, Las Piñas, Paranaque, Novotas, Bulacan, and Bataan in Manila Bay continue to be free from toxic red tide. And a lawmaker on Thursday linked Commission on Elections Chairman Judge Garcia to two offshore bank accounts in Cayman Islands, which allegedly received deposits from South Korean banks. Again, coming from GMA News Online, Saguio Party List Representative Rondante Marcoleta said that he and his team were able to verify that the two offshore accounts belong to Garcia by depositing money and asking for a bank receipt which allegedly yielded the lender's name. These documents cannot be just plainly denied. The burden of proof shifted to him, Garcia already, Marcoleta said in the press conference. He should explain this. We can't sacrifice our elections, he added. Marcoleta also said that the 22 offshore accounts which received deposits from South Korean banks suddenly closed within the last 2 months. Am I the only one alarmed over this? He said. Marcoleta then said that Garcia should resign if he fails to explain himself in connection with the offshore accounts. He earlier linked Garcia to offshore accounts amounting to as much as 1 billion pesos, which the latter denied. He likewise requested the National Bureau of Investigation and the Investigation and Anti-Money Laundering Council to formally investigate the accusations. Marcoleta said he filed a resolution Wednesday seeking a congressional probe on the matter. In an interview on Super Radio DC, Garcia welcomed the probe as he denied the bribery accusations anew. It is good that the House will conduct an inquiry on the matter, Garcia said. I will wait and I will freely attend the hearing, he said. At least 6 local banks issued certifications the bank accounts reportedly involved in the bribery accusations were non-existent. We compared the bank account numbers on the ones they presented earlier. They were different. This means the bank accounts were either new or were owned by another person. It may happen. You can deposit money to a bank account and initiate a different name, said Garcia. What they failed to present is the confirmation that the $100 was received. It usually takes 1 to 3 days for a bank to issue confirmations, he added. Garcia also stood firm that he will not resign over the bribery allegations. If that's the policy, then all officials that will be accused will resign. It's difficult to step down from my post because of rumors, fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. We have proven that the accounts were fake, that information is from the local banks, he said. The poll body chief earlier said he is eyeing filing charges against individuals behind the alleged demolition job. Okay, it is now 4:15 in the afternoon, and we will have more headlines coming up right here on koolNews at 4. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to koolNews at 4. The majority of senators have turned to support behind a resolution urging the government to temporarily suspend the implementation of the Public Transport Modernization Program, formerly known as the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, to pave the way for a review and also address issues raised by transport groups. This is coming from Inquirer.net. Proposed Senate Resolution number 1096, which was altered and signed by 22 of the 23 remaining senators following Senator Juan Edgardo Angara's appointment as Education Secretary, calls for the program to be put on hold pending the resolution of valid and urgent concerns raised by affected drivers, groups, unions, and transport cooperatives with the end in view of ensuring a more efficient and inclusive implementation of the PTMP. Only Senators Rizal Diveros did not sign the resolution. Senator Robin Hood Padilla signed it, but with reservations. There is an urgent need to thoroughly review and reassess the impact of the program to elevate the fears of the drivers and transport operators who will be directly burdened by its implementation, the senators said. They added that more consideration and clarifications were needed from the Department of Transportation, DOTR, to address concerns voiced by affected sectors, especially drivers. Under the modernization program, jeepney operators and drivers must consolidate or join or form cooperatives to apply their routes and to avail themselves of government assistance in modernizing and managing their fleets, among other services. This is part of a process toward the phase-off of traditional jeepneys and the replacement with eco-friendly but more expensive modern units that will be partly subsidized by the government. The senators noted that 36,217 PUV units, or around 19% of PUVs and other vehicles, failed to consolidate despite the April 30 deadline. They attributed this to the government's failure to properly educate drivers, operators, and transport groups about the program, as well as the burden of financing the cost of modern PUVs, which greatly exceeds the financial capacity of drivers and operators. The DOTR did not immediately respond to calls for comments on the Senate resolution. But during a public briefing on Tuesday, Transportation Undersecretary for Road Transport and Infrastructure Andy Ortega said they would send a letter to clarify to the senators the real status of our program. Earlier this week, transport groups supporting the program threatened to go on strike and not vote for senators who signed the resolution. They are feeling both sadness and anger because they are the majority and they have embraced the program. They already invested a lot of time and money because they believe in the program of the government, Ortega said. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation (DOTR) on Thursday said it will pursue the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program even after senators formally called for a temporary suspension of its implementation. DOTR Undersecretary Andy Ortega said that while the DOTR respects the move of the Senate, the agency intends to pursue the program and work on the issues raised by stakeholders. This is coming again from GMA News Online. We always respect our colleagues or friends in the Senate. So the resolution being submitted is, I do believe, will go to Malacanang, to our President, and our President will make the decision regarding that resolution. On the part of the DOTR, we are pursuing the program because we know we can fix all the issues on the matter in consultation while we are pushing for our ongoing program. On Wednesday, 22 of the 22 senators signed proposed Senate Resolution 1096 urging the government to temporarily suspend the implementation of PUVMP, which is now called Public Transport Modernization Program. These senators cited concerns on the high number of unconsolidated PUV units, phase out of the ironic jeepney design in favor of so-called modern jeepneys, low percentage of approved road routes, among others in the resolution. In a letter to the Senate prior to the signing of the resolution, resolution, DOTR Secretary Jimmy Bautista warned of unintended consequences should the government suspend the implementation of PUVMP. While we acknowledge that PTMP has faced challenges, allow us to respectfully posit that its overall impact has been overwhelmingly positive. Despite some isolated issues that have arisen, DOTR, along with its attached agencies, are actively addressing them through ongoing review and stakeholder consultations. We remain committed to refining the program to better meet the needs of our stakeholders, Bautista told Escudero. In conclusion, we respectfully beseech the Honorable Senate to consider the ongoing benefits and improvements of PTMP. A temporary suspension might only halt the positive momentum of the program, but could also have unintended consequences, he added. Bautista's letter was dated July 29, or 6 days after Escudero proposed the filing of a resolution that calls for PUVMP rollout's temporary suspension. Ortega, meanwhile, advised consolidated PUV operators and drivers to continue their operation despite the Senate resolution. We will tell them to carry on because that's the order of the President. That's the order of the Secretary. We have to pursue this program because we know we can talk, fix, and improve what we have been doing for the past year, he said. We can continue the program, but we have to make discussions about how to improve further. Let's help each other here. We need to continue the program, he added. In a separate statement, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Report said there is no directive from Marcos or the DOTR to stop the program. We assured the drivers, operators, and stakeholders who participated in the PUVMP that it will proceed as long as there is no directive coming from the President and the Department of Transportation to halt the program, LTFRB Chairperson Teofilo Guates III said. While respecting the Senate's move, Guates said the PUVMP is the government's response to address the aggravating transport-related problems, and the board remains committed to providing a safe, efficient service to the riding public and the private transport sector. Let's just double check here. I found the headline, but we will save that for the last. I'll keep looking for one. Oh, dang it. Microsoft Store kind of sucks here. So now let's move on to the Inquirer now. Where usually that's my go-to source for doing cool news. Let's just move on to that now. Okay, we're now back to Inquirer.net after using Microsoft Store for like 4 minutes of cool news at 4. Very interesting. Okay. Now we're going back to Inquirer.net as we speak, and let's continue with our headlines. Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla warned immigration officials and personnel against extorting foreign workers of Philippine offshore gaming operators and internet gaming licensees who are leaving the country. The departure comes following President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s directive to ban these businesses. The prohibition on all BOGOs and IGLs was announced by Marcos in his State of the Nation address on July 22. Let me be frank with you. I hope they don't think many elements within the BI that they will still make money. These people are already leaving, but they still want to extort them. Remulla said at the Kapihan session with reporters on Thursday. He did not specify how BI officials and personnel can extort money from the foreigners. We all know that this is a milking cow. There are many corrupt elements within the BI, Remula observed. They should stop thinking about it. Let's hope the president wrap up this problem so it can be resolved properly, he said. The BI has given foreigners working in POGOs and IGLs 60 days to voluntarily leave the country. But Remula said he will still clarify with the BI the rules and procedures on the foreigners' departure. He added the Bureau has to cooperate with the Department of Justice and to ensure the smooth closure of POGOs and IGLs. They will have to be with us. They need to play along, and that's the tool we are conducting so that the closure of POGO here in the Philippines can be orderly. Let me just double check. Alright. Let me just double check real quick. Okay. I have not covered that, so let's proceed with that. The Department of Justice is doubly confident that the Timor-Leste court will reaffirm its decision to grant the Philippines' request to extradite former Negros Oriental Representative Arnulfo Teves Jr., Assistant Secretary Jose Dominic Calavano IV said on Thursday. The court already granted the extradition request last June, but Teves countered through a petition filed on July 26. They were questioning the process, the testimony of the witnesses. The CA already denied that position, Calavano IV said in an Ambash interview. There's little that they can argue in addition to what they have already argued before. That's why we are doubly confident that we will have a confirmation again of the decision that was first rendered, he added. Teves is facing 10 counts of murder, 12 counts of frustrated murder, and 4 counts of attempted murder for the March 4, 2023 attack that killed Governor Roel Dagamo and 9 others. Teves was also designated a terrorist by the Anti-Terrorism Council, and his assets in the Philippines have been ordered frozen. The Philippine government will not block any arrest warrants that the International Criminal Police organizations may issue concerning the International Criminal Court's quote-unquote drug war case, Department of Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla said. Remulla explained on Thursday that while the Philippines is no longer a member of the ICC, it remains a part of Interpol, which facilitates worldwide police cooperation and crime control. We are not in the business of blocking any movement in Interpol, the DOJ chief replied when asked what the government will do if Interpol issues arrest warrants on suspects in the ICC drug war case. We will study the possibilities of the implications of dealing with Interpol and its partners, but we are not in the business of blocking Interpol's jobs, which is to fight international crime, he added. Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, former Philippine National Police Chief Oscar Albayate, former Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Chief Romeo Caraman Jr., former National Police Commission Commissioner Edilberto Leonardo, and former PNP Intelligence Officer Elazar Mata have been tagged as suspects by the Office of the Prosecutor of the ICC, which investigates the Duterte administration's brutal anti-drug campaign. Earlier, Solicitor General Bernardo Guerrero said they cannot stop the ICC from investigating people and consider suspects in its drug war case. Guerrero said the ICC prosecutor can come to the Philippines and interview suspects if required. The Philippine government cannot stop him from proceeding any way he wants. He can directly interview persons of interest online, through phone, by email, face-to-face, subject to the consent of these persons, Guerrero told reporters on July 30. But the ICC prosecutor cannot expect that the Philippine government will facilitate it for him, he added. And moving on to international news now, and we're back with Microsoft Start. Yes, so this is coming from the Associated Press. Delta Airlines CEO at Bastien says the airline is facing $500 million in costs related to a global tech outage this month that disrupted emergency services, communications, and thousands of businesses. What I mean this month was July. It's already August here. Anyway, speaking on CNBC, Bastien said Wednesday that the monetary amount represents lost revenue as well as the tens of millions of dollars per day in compensation and hotels for the 5-day period. A week ago, CrowdStrike blamed a bug in an update that allowed its cybersecurity systems to push bad data out to millions of customer computers, setting off the global tech outage that grounded flights, took TV broadcasts off air, and disrupted banks, hospitals, and retailers. Cybersecurity company CrowdStrike also outlined measures it will take to prevent the problem from recurring, including staggering the rollout of updates, giving customers more control over when and where they occur, and providing more details about the updates that it plans. Among airlines, Delta was by far the hardest hit by the outage, having to cancel thousands of flights because key systems were rippled by the incident. The U.S. Department of Transportation is investigating why Delta failed to recover as quickly as other airlines. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said last week that the department would also examine Delta's customer service, including unacceptable lines for assistance and reports that company miners were stranded at airports. Bastien said on CNBC that Delta will be seeking damages from the disruptions. CrowdStrike has not made any offers to help Delta financially so far, he added. It has offered free consulting advice. Alright, it is now 4:40 in the afternoon, and we will now be moving into the more international headlines along with sports related to Olympics 2024 taking place in Paris, and of course entertainment headlines. So stick around, we will be right back. And we are back with Cool News at 4. And currently my virtual machine is still updating, so we'll have to use my phone to do the news here. So let's continue with the headlines. But wait, there is more, because Alice Guo is still in the Philippines apparently. Suspended Papa Mayor Alice Guo is still in the Philippines. The Department of Justice DOJ Assistant Secretary Joseph Dominic Calavano IV said Thursday. In a kapihan session with reporters, Calavano said Guo has not left the country based on information they have received from other agencies. May information mula pa sa ibang mga ahensya na dito pa siya sa Pilipinas, he said. There is information from other agencies that she is still here in the Philippines. In a Senate hearing on July 29, National Bureau of Investigation Assistant Director Angelito Magno said there were reported sightings of Guo in Bulacan. But these sightings happened before the Senate issued an arrest order against Guo on July 11, he noted. The Senate issued an arrest order against Guo and 7 others after they skipped the July 10 hearing, despite due notice from the Committee on Women prompting into illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs. Okay, apparently it is another restart. Okay, well, another restart. My goodness. Okay, it's time for. Well, I have to find some backup plan to do the international news in the meantime. But let's just check the Global Nation on Inquirer. Okay. Alright, time for international news. Coming from Agence France Presse or AFP via Inquirer.net, where millions of Bangladeshis came back online this week after a nationwide internet shutdown. Many were shocked to watch a furious police crackdown they had earlier only heard while bunkered in their homes. At least 206 people were killed last month during some of the worst unrest of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's tenure, sparked by student demonstrations against civil service hiring rules. Bystanders and several police officers were among the dead, while most were protesters killed by police fire. Hospitals told AFP, with rights group and the European Union condemning what he said was an excessive use of force. Oh, finally, the VM is put back up now. Footage of clashes between security forces and crowds was largely absent from news broadcasts, and few had a grasp of their extent until the national mobile internet network was switched back on after an 11-day shutdown. Although the arrest has since come, several graphic amateur videos published on social media showing police firing on protesters had inflamed public anger against Hasina's government. How come the police are killing our brothers and sisters like this? One user asked in response to a short clip of a police officer firing at a wounded young man while another tried to drag him safely from the scene. AFP was able to pinpoint the footage to Jarabari, a bus in the capital Dhaka, and from there identified 3 eyewitnesses who corroborated the video. All spoke on condition of anonymity, fearing retribution if they identified themselves. The incident occurred on July 20 hours after Hasina's government announced a nationwide curfew and deployed troops to restore order at the height of the unrest. One witness said the wounded man in the video, 18-year-old Mem Hassanin had been accosted by police but denied participating in protests before he was shot. He fell on the ground and was trying to crawl away. 2 other men fled the scene, but one guy gave back to his friend away, the witness added. Tim was brought to Dhaka Medical College Hospital but died of his injuries later that day, his father Marno Hussain told AFP. He was not even a protester. Tim's elder brother Tuhen told AFP. He was roaming around with her friends during a break in the curfew. The footage of the attack on Tem was viewed more than 500,000 times after it was posted on Facebook, and the 60-second clip was widely shared on WhatsApp and other messaging platforms. AFP also verified another video taken a day earlier in the nearby neighborhood at Rampura that showed police firing at the man at point-blank range as he clung to an undercover under-construction building. The man had fled into the site according to eyewitnesses. The clip has been viewed more than 2 million times on Facebook. I cried countless times while watching this. I'm crying now, one user wrote in the response. This will not happen in a free country. Rights groups have accused Hasina's government of sidelining opposition parties and ruthlessly stemming out dissent during its 15-year tenure. Bangladesh ranks 165 out of 180 countries on Reporters Without Borders Press Freedom Index, below Russia and just above Saudi Arabia. Many in Dhaka could hear gunfire and explosions from around the mega city of 20 million people inside their homes during last month's unrest. But television coverage was heavily censored and showed little of the police response to the disorder, instead focusing on arson attacks and vandalism by protesters. Amnesty International said its review of photographic, video, and eyewitness testimony found the unlawful use of force by police against protesters on several occasions. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell also condemned the police response to the disorder and called for perpetrators to be brought to justice. There must be full accountability for the numerous instances of use and excessive and literal force by the law enforcement authorities against protesters and others, he said in a statement. Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan last weekend denied that the police response to the unrest was excessive, saying security forces had shown extreme levels of patience and only fired when necessary to stop attacks on government buildings. When they saw that the properties could not be protected, then police were forced to open fire, he said. Right, now for sports. An ambition from Paris Olympics organizers to cut the carbon footprint of catering at this year's eco-friendly games has run into a problem: the huge appetites of meat-loving athletes. At the trial run up at the Olympics Village restaurant in June, Game Supremo Tony Estanguet stressed how Paris 2024 was aiming to cut the average carbon emissions per meal in half compared to previous Olympics by offering more vegetarian food. Promising not to disappoint visitors to a country famed for its gastronomy, the organizing committee also took on several Michelin-starred chefs as advisors to work alongside its food contractor, French multinational Sodexo. But for the first few days, in the village located in the deprived suburb north of Paris, saw demands for more meat, eggs, and bigger helpings as athletes look to replenish themselves after grilling competitions or gym sessions. The only issue would be the food shortages. Swimmer Julio Orrego from Honduras told AFP on Monday when asked about life in the village. It's a bit surprising. Orrego, who says he eats up to 5,000 calories per day, said he turned up for breakfast at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday, only to find there were no eggs left. If you arrive a bit late, then there aren't enough, he said at the entrance to the village, which is buzzing with activity and 10,500 athletes in its roughly 40 low-rise towers. Romanian rower Julian Jalaru gave a clear answer when asked if there was anything missing meat. We didn't have enough meat, but now it's soft, he added. German swimmer Lukas Matsuhat, age 24, said that the size of helpings was also increasing. At the start, there were not very big portions for people, but it's improved now, he said. The food hall includes 6 different dining areas offering meals from around the globe, with half of the 50 dishes available each day being 100% vegetarian. We enjoy our greens, so it's not a problem, Canadian beach volleyball player Sophie Bukovac said as she left the complex. Some of the athletes are big meat eaters. They're trying to sort it out. There is protein, you just have to know where to find it. And finally, in entertainment showbiz news, Indonesian music artist Afgan hopes to mount a show in the Philippines sometime soon and collaborate with Filipino artists whom he at News Most, including SB19 Stel, Christian Bautista, James Reid, to name a few. In an exclusive virtual interview with the star, T-pop and R&B crooner, whose real name is Alfonso Risa, said that he always wants to visit the Philippines due to many reasons. We will have to be quick here since we're running out of time. I haven't been there, but my aunt lives there, and she told me so many great stories about the Philippines. And a few of all my good friends are Filipino, so I have so much good stories, and of course with the singers. I saw on YouTube, and you guys have, oh my god, the singers, it blew me away because I feel like the Filipinos are like the black singers of Asia. Haha! I would love to go there and do a show there because the last time I did a concert here, a few of my Filipino fans, they flew all the way to Manila from Manila to Jakarta, and it makes me sad that I couldn't go there yet. So hopefully I would. I don't know. I really want to make that happen for this album, Thunder. Hopefully I can do small shows there. Yes, certainly. And that is indeed it for koolNews at 4 p.m. as it is exactly 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And as always, you can get in touch with us at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. And we will be back with more headlines later with koolNews at 6 and koolNews Prime Time at 9. Until then, I am Carlo. Good afternoon.